January 1944, over central Germany just after dawn, a pale winter sun struggles to rise through a ceiling of high, broken cloud. Far below, the city of Berlin lies muted and gray, its rivers dark ribbons cutting through stone and steel. The air is thin and bitterly cold. At altitude, frost creeps along metal skins and contrails stretch like scars across the sky. The distant hum of engines grows steadily louder, not from one direction, but from many. This is not a raid yet. It is something far more unsettling for years. German fighter aces had believed the skies above the Reich followed familiar rules. American bombers came in tight formations, slow and heavy, protected only for part of the journey. Beyond a certain point, beyond the reach of Allied escort fighters, the bombers were vulnerable. German doctrine was built around this assumption. Interceptors would rise, strike hard, and withdraw. Losses were expected, but control of the air over Germany itself was never meant to be surrendered. Berlin, especially, was supposed to remain distant from constant fighter threat. That belief shaped strategy, training, and confidence. But by early 1944, the war in the air was changing. The United States Army Air Forces were no longer improvising. They were executing a long-planned vision rooted in industrial power and technological reach. At the center of that vision stood the P-51 Mustang, sleek, long-ranged, and fast. With drop tanks slung beneath its wings, the Mustang could do what no Allied fighter had reliably done before. Stay with the bombers all the way to the heart of Germany and back. German pilots noticed the change almost immediately. Bomber streams approaching from the west no longer thinned their protection as they crossed the Rhine. Instead, silver fighters stayed close, weaving patiently above and around the formations. Their engines produced a steady, confident sound, not the strained roar of aircraft nearing their limits, but the controlled rhythm of machines designed for endurance. That sound followed the bombers deeper and deeper inland, until even Berlin lay beneath it. Historical records capture the shock this caused. Luftwaffe after-action reports from January and February 1944 speak of unexpected continuous fighter escort and enemy fighters present far beyond previous limits. Veteran aces who had survived years of combat now found themselves outnumbered and outpaced over their own territory. Attacks that once came from advantage now began at a disadvantage. Climb rates were matched. Dives were countered. Escape was no longer guaranteed. The emotional contrast was stark. German pilots had expected dominance near home, a final sanctuary where familiarity and infrastructure favored them. Instead, they tireless, appearing wherever bombers flew, challenging every interception. The psychological effect was severe. Familiar skies felt suddenly hostile. The sense of control that defined an ace's confidence began to erode. The Mustang itself became a symbol of American abundance. It was not just a fighter, it was the product of a system that could afford refinement. Its laminar flow wing reduced drag. Its Packard-built Merlin engine delivered power at altitude. Drop tanks, discarded when empty, reflected a logistics chain capable of supplying fuel in volumes Germany could no longer imagine. The steady engine note of the P-51 became a recurring presence, a sound that followed bomber formations like a promise that protection. Factual data underscores the transformation. Before the widespread deployment of long-range escorts, American bomber losses over Germany were unsustainable. Schweinfurt and Regensburg had proven that unescorted daylight bombing invited disaster. With the arrival of the P-51 in large numbers, loss rates fell sharply, even as raids penetrated deeper. At the same time, German fighter losses climbed, not only from combat but from fuel shortages, reduced training hours, and the relentless pressure of defending multiple targets simultaneously. The ideology of air combat shifted in those months. For the Luftwaffe, the ace tradition, the individual warrior mastering the sky, had been central to identity. For the American, by mid-1944, the Luftwaffe's capacity to contest the skies was broken. not by a single battle, but by accumulation, the daily erosion of aircraft, pilots, and confidence. The sound of Mustang engines over Berlin became a symbol not only of military defeat, but of ideological defeat. It represented a form of warfare Germany could not match, sustained, industrial, and indifferent to sacrifice. In the epilogue of this story, the sky over Berlin tells a larger truth. Freedom in this war did not arrive quietly or elegantly. It arrived with endurance. It arrived with engines that did not turn back. The P-51's Escort was more than protection for bombers. It was proof that a democracy, once mobilized, could project its will across continents